Yo, what's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the NBA slate on DraftKings and Yahoo for Tuesday, February the 5th. We got an 8-game Tuesday slate. I'm going to go through each position and talk about some of the guys that stand out to me, the players that I like on this 8-game slate. And then I will give my 5 plays for DraftKings and 5 plays for Yahoo. 5 players that I like specifically for each site. Before we do get started, though, I would appreciate it if you would drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so that way you don't miss out on any of my new videos. Starting off at point guard, we do have Russell Westbrook as the top option at this position. He is 11,400 today, getting a matchup at home against the Magic. I really don't have a ton of interest in Westbrook today. Just looking at some of the studs on the slate, the guys that are over 10K, I really don't have much interest in any of them. Westbrook's obviously 11-4 against the Magic at home. LeBron 10-7 facing the Pacers on the road. He is expected to play today, even though DraftKings has him listed as questionable. Joel Embiid at home against the Raptors, 10,500, and Paul George, 10,200 in that same matchup with the Magic. Really don't like any of these guys. I think the guy that I want to pay up for on this slate is Kawhi Leonard at 9,300 against the Sixers, because Kyle Lowry is doubtful for this game, and I think we're going to see a really big game out of Kawhi Leonard. He does play really well and does benefit when Kyle Lowry is out, and it looks like Lowry is going to be out today. So I really don't have a ton of interest in paying up for point guard. I guess if I had to choose someone, I'd probably go with maybe Kemba Walker at home against the Clippers. I think this is a good spot for Kemba Walker, and he is coming off a big game against the Bulls where I think he nearly triple-doubled, had like 60 DraftKings points. So I guess if I had to choose someone to pay up for, it would be him, but I think there are some good plays in this mid-range. Kyrie Irving is out today for the Celtics, which is going to open up Terry Rozier in this mid-range. I don't think Rozier is like a must-play by any means because he is 6,700 on DraftKings, and that is a pretty good price for Rozier. That's what he should be priced when Kyrie Irving is out. On Yahoo, he's $24 though. This might be a little bit too cheap. I think Rozier should probably be about 27, 28 when Kyrie Irving is out. So a couple dollars too cheap. I do like Terry Rozier quite a bit on Yahoo. I don't really see myself paying up at this position either on Yahoo or DraftKings. I like Rozier. I think Darren Collison's a really good play. We're going to talk about Fred VanVleet in a second. I think he's one of the best values on the slate. He's a really good point guard play. So the mid-range and the values where I'm looking to go at point guard. I like Rozier on DraftKings, but I don't think you really need to go to him. On Yahoo, it's a bit of a different story. Rozier I expect to be in plenty of my lineups on Yahoo. Obviously a great matchup against Cleveland. Just got to hope the game stays competitive. Then I mentioned Darren Collison at $6,400, $300 cheaper. I do like Darren Collison, especially if he's going to be low owned today compared to what Rozier will be owned. If Rozier is like 20% owned and Collison's like 5% owned, if I was making one lineup in a tournament, I'd probably go with Darren Collison because I do like this spot a lot for Darren Collison. He had a good game against the Pelicans on Monday night. Pacers are on a back-to-back. I think we see another good game out of Darren Collison here. Pace-up spot for the Pacers. I do like this matchup a lot for them with the Lakers. So you can go to Collison that mid-range as well. Jared Bayless I like quite a bit on DraftKings at 5,400. I think he's a good play on Yahoo as well at shooting guard. This position's always pretty weak. Right now he stands out to me as like one of the best shooting guard plays. He's $18 over here. Obviously the matchup with Memphis is not ideal, but when you take Derrick Rose and Jeff Teague off the court, which it looks like both guys are going to be off the court for this game. Derrick Rose has already been ruled out, and Jeff Teague is doubtful. We should get big minutes out of Jared Bayless. I think even with Derrick Rose playing last game, we still got 35 minutes out of Jared Bayless against Denver and 35 DraftKings points. Since Teague and Rose are both expected to be out, we're going to get probably 35 to 37, 38 minutes, somewhere in that range for Jared Bayless here. And he did just go off against this Memphis team for 51 DraftKings points. 5,400 still, I think, too cheap for Jared Bayless. He probably projects for about 30 fantasy points. I would say that's a bad game for him. He does have a bit of a ceiling. He should probably be about 6K, 62, 6,300. So while he's $1,000 too cheap, I'm definitely going to take advantage of that and play some Jared Bayless today on DraftKings. So I like him quite a bit at this point guard position or shooting guard. You can play him at both. And then the last guy I want to mention is Fred VanVleet. Talked about him earlier. I think he right now stands out to me as one of the best values. Only $4,600 on DraftKings and only $14 on Yahoo. Really hard to avoid Fred VanVleet today. When you take Kyle Lowry off the court, you get Fred VanVleet in the starting lineup. usually playing about 33 to 34 minutes if the game is competitive. That game against the Clippers in their last one, Fred VanVleet did start for Kyle Lowry. Lowry missed that game. We only got 26 minutes out of VanVleet, but that game was a blowout. The Raptors did win by 18 points. You would expect if this game against the Sixers is competitive, which it should be, we're going to get probably 33, 34 minutes out of VanVleet, and he should project for around 30 to 32 DraftKings points. And at 4,600, getting a guy that projects for 30 points is just too good of a value to pass up. So really hard to avoid VanVleet. He should be like near 6K when Lowry's out. So you're going to want to take advantage of this price tag and play as much Fred VanVleet as you can. I think he is one of the best values on the slate. But yeah, I think that's it for point guard. Let's go ahead and move on to shooting guard now. So at this position, you do have Jimmy Butler as the most expensive option on DraftKings. I don't think Butler is really someone I'm paying up for today. I think I'm going to be playing a lot of the guys that I've talked about, like VanVleet, Bayless. You can play these guys at shooting guard. If you want to play Rozier, I really like him today. You can play him at shooting guard. I think he is a good option. Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown with Kyrie Irving out. I think you can definitely go to. Smart is 5,300. Jaylen Brown is down here at 4,900. Both of those guys are for sure in play for me. I think if I had to choose one, I'd go with the cheaper one and play Jaylen Brown, but really can't go wrong with either. Both guys do benefit when Kyrie Irving is out. So Smart and Brown at shooting guard I like quite a bit. And then if you want to go cheap here, you got VanVleet, who you can play at this position. But let's go ahead and move on to small forward. Look at small forward today. So you got LeBron, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, some of the top options here. I mentioned Kawhi earlier. I like him a lot on this slate. At 9,300 on DraftKings, over on Yahoo at small forward, where he's $45. I think he's going to be one of the studs that I'm really trying to force in today. Just when you take Kyle Lowry off the court, Kawhi Leonard does benefit quite a bit. Gets more usage, just is able to get more shots up, has the opportunity to get more assists, is just overall a better fantasy player. And in his last game with Kyle Lowry out, he did sort of bust, only 29 DraftKings points in 26 minutes. That game was a blowout, though. Kawhi really wasn't needed in that game. I think he's going to be needed here against a really good Sixers team. We should get big minutes out of Kawhi. His price dropped a little bit, down to 9,300. Kawhi's a 10K player when you take Lowry off the court, so definitely want to take advantage of this price on him as well. For what it is worth, he has done well in this matchup, an average of 58 DraftKings points through 2 games this year against the Sixers. Love Kawhi Leonard today. Definitely going to be one of the studs I really want to force in on this slate. So if I'm paying up at small forward, he's the guy that I'm looking to. But if you're going to the mid-range, I really like Aaron Gordon's price tag. I think he stands out to me at just 6,200. Feels way too cheap of a price tag for Aaron Gordon. I think he's too cheap on Yahoo as well. Over here, he's $27 at power forward. Definitely like me some Aaron Gordon today. He's going to be in some of my lineups for sure. In this mid-range, though, 5K range, I think Marcus Morris, 5,400, does benefit when Kyrie is out. If you want to play him, I think he is in play at small forward. You can play Jaylen Brown as a value play, who I really like. He's got small forward eligibility. But that's probably it for me for this position. So let's go ahead and move on to power forward now. So at power forward, there are 2 guys that I really like in the mid-range here. First off is Al Horford at 6,600. Love Al Horford today with Kyrie Irving out. Al Horford's always the guy that I play when Irving is out, just because he benefits so much. He's able to pick up more usage, gets more assists. Just overall more productive player when Irving is off the court. We've seen it lately when Irving has missed some of these games. We've gotten big games out of Al Horford, and I wouldn't expect anything to change here against a very bad Cleveland defense. Just gotta hope this game stays close. Right now it does have a 12.5 point spread, which is a bit concerning, but it is being played in Cleveland, so hopefully that keeps it close. If it does stay close, we should get 33, 34 minutes out of Al Horford. He's going to be very productive with no Kyrie. It's probably going to get you over a fantasy point per minute. I would be surprised if this game's close that Al Horford scores less than 40 DraftKings points. It's 6,600 with his price dropping a bit. Definitely want to take advantage of him today. Love Al Horford on the slate, especially on DraftKings because you can play him at power forward and center, which is really appealing. And the other guy that I really like is Montrezl Harrell. He's the same price tag as Al Horford. I'm going to be playing both of these guys today in a ton of my lineups because I like this matchup a lot for Montrezl Harrell as well. On Yahoo, I think he's a great play over here, $22 at center. He looks like one of the best center plays on Yahoo at his price tag. Just a great spot for Montrezl Harrell. He dominated earlier this year against the Hornets, putting up 49 DraftKings points in 29 minutes. Had 23 and 11 with 5 assists. Makes sense that he did well because the Hornets really haven't been that good defensively against centers this year. Cody Zeller, I believe, is going to return for this game, which is definitely a bit concerning because Cody Zeller is a more good defensive-minded center than Biyombo and then Willie Hernan-Gomez is, but I still am going to play some Montrezl Harrell today, even with Cody Zeller expected to return. I like the spot a lot for him. The minutes have been very consistent. He's getting nearly 30 minutes a game in the games where he's either out of foul trouble or just not playing really well. When he's not in foul trouble, you're getting 30-plus minutes out of Harrell. Some games he's been starting as well. I think he started last game against the Raptors, so definitely like me some Montrezl Harrell today on DraftKings at power forward or center. If you want to play him at this position, you can. But we'll go over some other power forwards quickly before we move over to center. Really, the guys I see are the guys I've talked about. Marcus Morris, you can play at this position at 5,400. I like him quite a bit. Value-wise, really don't see any cheap plays that I'd love here. So let's go ahead and move on to center now. So top of this position, you got Embiid, Towns, Vucevic, Drummond, Griffin. Some of the top options here. And really, I don't have a ton of interest in any of these guys, at least not as core plays. Like Embiid, I think I'd probably avoid on this slate at 10-5 against the Raptors. Not the best spot. Probably would only play him if I'm like game stacking this game. Because I think Kawhi is just an overall better play for over $1,000 cheaper. Towns, I would definitely try and avoid here. I don't really like this matchup for Towns. I'm not going to be playing any Towns today. Vucevic at 9,600, I guess you could go to, but I would rather play Kawhi, and he's only $300 cheaper. Blake Griffin and Drummond are definitely in good spots against the Knicks, but again, it's hard for me to really prioritize them over someone like Kawhi for just a little bit more salary. So I think the way I'm going at center today is probably to the mid-range. You got Horford, who you could play here. You got Harrell, who you could play here. I think Miles Turner at 6,500 against the Lakers is definitely an option if you want to go to him. If we're looking for value here, not really much stands out to me, at least value-wise. I don't really see any cheap plays I love. I think the mid-range is really stacked at this position with Horford, Harrell, Turner. Those are some of the guys that I feel like I'm going to be playing at center today. But yeah, guys, I think that's it for center, and I think that is it for the video. So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. Hopefully it did help you. If you enjoyed the video, just make sure you click that like button down below. Make sure you subscribe if you have not already. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, or hit me up on Twitter at the DFS_GOAT. But yeah, guys, good luck tonight on this 8-game slate. We will see you in the next video. Peace.